It's happening, everybody. Woo!
Wow.
We got a lot to talk about, man.
A lot of fighting.
A lot of fighting. It's just everything.
And I was on Twitter, and John Hackleman says he's proud of me because I got my motherfucking toes painted.
John, how did you get this mug to paint his toenails black, man?
They're not black. That's eagle
get
green.
Your funky
That's eagle green, man.
Huh?
My toes.
Are they green?
Man, they're green.
Let me see them shits.
Motherfuckers are green. Look, that's eagle green.
This shit.
I'm not kidding.
God, love Mike. You guys, if you could really see this shit, his shit is actually eagle green. Did they have that when you rolled up into the fucking salon?
They had to put down black, and then they put the green over top. Shit looks pretty. I got pretty feet. Fuck that. They might be square, but they're pretty.
What do you think about that shit, Jimmy?
It's not something I would do, but you know.
It's not something that I would do. But
Jimmy does, man. That's something I wouldn't do either.
You know what? I'm not going to have some little Asian man rubbing my feet.
It wasn't a man. It was a woman who looked just like Jimmy's mom. Shockingly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Jimmy, you're part Asian?
His mom
Yeah,
is.
you wouldn't know by looking
Jimmy's
at
everything.
Anyway, man, uncutgear.com. Go get a shirt. Buy a shirt for me. Buy a shirt for your mother. And on top of that, if you scroll down, you can get all kinds of shit. You can get cases.
Yeah, I even saw like iPad stuff.
iPad cases.
We have
coffee
everything,
mugs.
man. If you get a chance, just go over to it, uncutgear.com. If you do buy something, put in the coupon code Live Long. That'll give you a discount.
Hey, and Christmas is right around the corner, so might as well buy
Stock
it.
up, man. Yeah, stock up on shit. And we're actually coming up with a lot of designs. Actually, a guy said, hey, why don't you guys do some Japanese inspired themes?
What does that mean?
That's a good idea, huh?
What does that mean?
It was like Hayabusa stuff. Yeah, go ahead. What was that? Oh, no, God. I'm going, we're glad that Jimmy's off the camera right now. Right. Anyway, let's move on to our shout-out portion of the show. Right. You had a shout-out you had to give, right?
Stefan Paul. He
Right.
says he just tuned in and found us on YouTube and started watching, and is going through and watched the majority of our videos. And not to toot our own horn, but toot. Our MMA shit's gotten better. I don't care what none of y'all say, because most of y'all now complain about not being able to see the fight, not about our fucked up comments.
Yeah, people just coming.
The presentation's definitely gotten better.
Yeah, it definitely
we added
has.
Jimmy.
I'm going to give a shout out to Joey and Bobby Purdom, my extended family. These guys follow us, and I love them dearly. Now, let's talk about the UFC live on Fox, which event.
Well,
go ahead.
the thing before we get to that, what I like is Dana White goes, you know what? This UFC event will be on Fox in the UK. After that, he's like, I can't make any guarantees.
Right.
That would piss me off if I lived over there. That would piss me off if I lived over there.
With that being said, before we go on any further about the actual event, Dana White and Zuffa and them, these guys are fucking great at marketing, and they're going to give Jimmy's like, I don't understand why they're having one fucking event, and I'm like, because we know under most circumstances when Cain Velasquez meets JDS, that is going to be a fucking firework of a fight. It's going to be a good fight. It's just the way they both fight. They're both aggressive. They both have great stand-up. It's going to be a good fight and an entertaining fight. I would have to think that they're thinking, okay,
Give him a taste.
give them a taste and pull it away from them. It's just like a good dessert. You have a bite of that shit. Damn, that was good in the motherfucker.
And the other thing
you don't get no more.
And the other thing I explained to Jimmy is I expect the first 25 to 30 minutes is to kind of for us folks who've watched MMA, this is going to be like a repeat. They're going to show us the rules. They're probably going to show us some of the people who started it. I would expect a serious highlight. And Fox is going out and said, expect production on par with the Super Bowl. I mean, so I think that's where you're going to see it. My question is, who's going to do the commentating? Are they going to let Rogan and what's his name Goldberg do it, or are they going to bring in their own Fox type people?
No, I would think that they'd have to have the in-house commentating.
Because I'm going to tell you straight up, if Joe Buck commentates on one thing about MMA, I will never watch again. I hate
Joe Buck. Right. Do you know him personally?
I heard it was going to be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman doing some
Troy
MMA.
Aikman I can deal with. But Joe, now let's talk about the actual fight.
Then let's talk about one other thing too. You guys said, what did you say about overseas, about in England?
Yeah, England, they're talking about this might be the only event.
Now see, this is another thing where you say, okay, I'm going to give England a piece of it. It'll probably get great ratings, and now he has some leverage for marketing to get some of the play,
one of the TV carriers to start
pick it up. They're all trying to fucking set everything in place so they can make some big bank, which I'm sure they're going to do.
Well, dude, UFC's getting $90 million a year for 7 years from Fox.
Right.
What? Who? Dude.
I mean, I could.
Wow.
I I can do a lot with $90 million.
Well, here's
okay,
the
that's
thing.
the question. What would you do if you had $90 million?
Well, here's what
right
I hope. I hope the UFC takes that and puts it back into the fighters. Starts at this healthcare that they've been talking about, gives them pension funds, creates more of a working environment, much like the NFL and the NBA and the NHL. Put it back into the fighters. Put it back into the product. $90 million, that's a nice chunk of change.
This motherfucker sounds like Jimmy Hoffa. You sound like a union leader.
Yeah.
The fighters need that.
It's true. It's true.
Right, and it would surprise me. I mean, will the fighters, most other sports are unionized. It'll be interesting to see if the fighters do.
I don't know why they haven't. Someone has
It's
stepped forward, a former
surprising.
fighter, and tried to create.
It's surprising that they haven't, just because, I mean, it's literally the haves and the have-nots, because you've got a few guys that are making big money, and then the rest of them,
Or just
I mean, they're getting by.
Well, it could get ugly because of these fighters are a lot like independent contractors. And when your contract's up, I mean, look at
Right.
King Mo. Someone's got 2 fights. No, Paul Daly. Paul Daly's got 2 fights in 2 months. Dude, if you put a union, they're like, no, you don't.
right.
Yeah.
So they don't have they won't have the freedom of a union. Maybe just make the UFC a union and everyone else can do whatever the fuck they want.
They could.
If you fight for the UFC, here are the rules. This is what you're going to do. But you also get a pension. You're going to get a retirement. You're going to get health care. It's going to take, $90 million a
Well,
year.
hopefully those guys with this kind of money they're making from Fox will put
It's
that
definitely
into
going
play.
to increase their exposure.
Yeah.
So even if they don't, some of these guys should be able to get some endorsement opportunities.
Well, if increased exposure, you're also going to see people. They have the fighters start to have more leverage because people from the outside world go, "Do these guys have benefits? What people start asking questions."
And another good thing from that perspective is, unlike football where the guys wear helmets and you don't necessarily always see them,
Yeah.
fighters, you see these guys. I mean,
Exactly.
they're walking out to the ring. They don't have anything on,
Yeah.
In other
covering them.
words-
So I mean, they can become instantly recognizable,
Right.
especially if they're good-looking people.
Right. Yeah, sure.
GSP is going to be big. Cain Velasquez has a chance to be big. I'm thinking Cain Velasquez could hit the dual language market. I mean,
Right.
there's going to be lots of opportunities for these guys with the
Exactly.
Fox deal. Now, can we talk about the fight?
Yes. We're done with our uncut business portion of the show, and we're moving on to the actual fucking event.
CNBC.
For all you people that hung in there.
We'll be talking about Hung Dong here in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Cain Velasquez versus JDS. That's the fight we're going to get November 12th.
It's going
to be the only fight on Fox.
and it's going to sit. And they have put this fight. What is the other major event that's
Manny Pacquiao.
will be fighting
Later
after
that night.
Later
Not
that
on
night.
Fox.
Not on Fox.
Sadly.
Let's look at the Velasquez is the champion. He's coming off an injury.
Rotator cuff.
Rotator cuff injury. I think at this point in time, he's had enough time to heal and be 100% for this fight. Dos Santos has been not walking through everybody. He's had a couple formidable opponents, but for the most part, he has pretty much beat everybody that's gotten his way to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the guy that challenges fucking Velasquez for
And
the
to
belt.
steal something from Jimmy, JDS has gotten better every single fight.
He has.
He hasn't stayed here. His stand-up's gotten better. His ground game, I'm sure, is there. I'll be interested. I would like to see JDS come out and use his hands to try to set up maybe a takedown, but taking down Cain Velasquez has proven difficult. He out-muscled Brock Lesnar.
Right.
And Brock Lesnar is huge, and he's strong, and he embarrassed Brock.
Right.
He pinned him up against the cage at one point, peppered the shit out of him. So I don't see Junior Dos Santos winning this, but if he does, it's going to have to be during the stand-up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely going to... The timing of this couldn't have happened better for the UFC because they were thinking it was going to be a pay-per-view anyways, but they were able to shift it to this. It's going to be an exciting fight. I think it's going to mainly be a stand-up fight, and I actually think Junior Dos Santos might actually walk out of there with the belt.
Yeah.
His hands are heavy.
Now, after listening to both you guys kind of assess the fight, this is what I think. I think if the fight stays standing and it gets in the later rounds, it's going to all of a sudden lean a lot towards JDS. Now, when I look at it, obviously styles make fights, and sometimes I'll look at a person that you faced, a person that a fighter has faced, and say, okay, when I imagine JDS fighting Brock Lesnar, I can't see JDS beating Brock Lesnar as fast as Cain Velasquez. And it doesn't matter. I know styles make fights, but what I'm getting at is that Cain Velasquez is fucking a phenomenal wrestler. Like I couldn't believe how physically strong he was. I think that he will take JDS down. I think he'll be able to.
His takedowns better be on point because when he starts coming in, if he gets caught with one of those punches from JDS,
Right.
could be trouble.
And the
Now,
other,
who do you think has heavier hands between the two guys?
No, my opinion personally is JDS.
Right.
I don't know, because Cain Velasquez is going to come in with a significant amount of ring rust, and he hasn't fought live opponents. And there's difference, and you get on me about this.
Yeah.
Game speed and practice speed.
Right.
Ask Chris Johnson. This shit's not the same.
Right.
JDS has been seeing live opponents who actually are going to try to hurt him and hit back.
And good opponents.
Yeah, more recently than Cain. With that said, do I think I don't know who has the heavier hands. I just know Cain Velasquez is very patient.
Right.
So we watched that in the Brock Lesnar fight because he peppered him. He looked like he was going to rush in, but he didn't. He stayed off, used his jab, and ended it. And I think that's what's going to happen in this fight.
I think to some degree, like making it a comparison in football is a little different because football you have game. Like with fighting, you train. You see what I'm saying? And you can't go out obviously and get in the ring and fucking go all out because you get fucked up. Somebody
Right,
can get
you can't
knocked out.
train your chin.
You can't train your chin. So, but you do train. You can't train your chin. The only thing that differs in a fight is a little bit more intense in your chin. You're getting hit full.
Now,
you're taking shots.
I find it funny that you guys, considering this one over here doesn't even pay attention to our Twitter account, says you can't train your chin because the big rumor about Brock Lesnar is he's not allowed to get hit in practice. And maybe that's why his fucking chin's made of glass, because it never gets tested. And when that shit got tested in the ring,
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think, if you can train for a lot of things. Like, I mean, these guys, I know Velasquez, the last time when he fought Lesnar, they brought in an Olympic wrestler in there, and that shit fucking showed.
Okay, how's the fight going? Quick.
JDS, I think he's going to win in the second round by a TKO or knockout.
I got Cain Velasquez second round.
I agree with Kevin. Second
round.
round, Cain Velasquez, TKO.
Mm-hmm.
Now,